A5, day 5 of 30 days of going live, where I'm talking about how to get your teenager to talk to you. Doesn't that just sound so simple in its essence? If you want your teenager to talk to you, if you want them to actually listen to what you have to say, this is the series for you. I'm in day 5, and today we're going to talk a little bit about religion, because religion is often a pain point for many parents. And it's a Sunday, and I don't standardly do a whole lot of work or going live or doing anything on Sundays, but I'm obliged to in a 30-day series of going live, right? So here I am, day 5 of 30 days of getting your team to talk to you. So we're going to talk a little bit about religion today because it's Sunday. I'm all dressed. I'm going to church in a few hours. And I think it's important because I think a lot of parents have a hard time talking to their teenager about religion or their beliefs, especially when they are not in line with what they believe or what they've taught them or something along those lines. So if you've experienced that, drop a note in the comments. I want to hear a little bit about what your experience is, and I'll see if I can respond straight to that. And I want to hear questions that you have about talking to your teenager about religion or religious beliefs. On Friday, in the group coaching program that I have called the Trusted Academy, we were talking about, it's called emotional biases, how we all have biases that we're triggered by. And if you see the live that I did yesterday, I talked about how words matter and words are very important. And I talked about how I have a new freebie that you can link in my bio for Say This Not That, 5 situations to help you talk to your teenager. Okay, so those are specific words, and words do matter. If you want to hear more about words mattering in the story that I shared, check that out yesterday. I'm doing a live series every day for about 15 minutes. And today I want to talk about how words matter in the conversation, and your response to your teenager and about religion and their beliefs makes a big difference. And if they want to keep coming back to you to talk to you about those things. And I have heard from many parents over the years. So I'm a religious gal myself. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, aka the Mormons. It's a nickname, easy line of saying Church of Jesus Christ. So I will say that I work with a lot of moms. I've seen a lot of moms. I've heard from a lot of moms over the years who are members of my faith, who really struggle when their teenager is less interested in participating in the faith. It's a pain point for many moms. And I'm here to say, it's actually not the end of the world. And how you respond to it will help them to know, is mom safe to talk to about this? Is mom emotionally safe, right? So being trusted, which is everything that I do in the trusted method, I teach you to become trusted by how you talk, how you listen, how you respond, how you react. These are the things that I teach you. It's not your teenager's problem. It's not your problem. It's the pattern that you are stuck in. And you are likely stuck in a pattern of having this religious, emotional bias about religion. Naturally, when there's something that you really care about or feel deeply about, it's natural for you to have strong emotions by, to be triggered by, all of those things. And what I want you to hear me say is, if your teenager has questions or doubts about their faith and you respond by trying to fix it or tell them what they should do, they're going to say, note to self, mom's not a safe place to talk about this. I'm just going to keep it in. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because mom doesn't get it. Mom won't listen. Mom's too emotional. She's too triggered. She can't talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. I just want to make sure that I'm not seeing any comments. So if you have experiences with your teenager, want to hear about it, here's what I want you to know. Like I said, words matter. How you respond to it matters. What I want you to think of with religion and with faith is the long game. I think a lot of parents think, my teenager doesn't believe in what I've taught them and what I believe as it pertains to religion. And they start to think, well, they start to feel this fear. I don't know if it's like damnation or something of this eternal thinking that worries them. And so they start to, many moms, many parents start to get into this catastrophizing thinking of, oh my gosh, they're doomed, or something along those lines, right? Okay, so I'm just making sure I don't miss any comments. So what I want you to think about is the long game as it pertains to religion, and thinking about, you know what, right now they might not believe, but if I'm an emotionally safe place to talk to, for them to just question and wonder and be curious about, they're going to be open with me. And I think a lot of parents think that they want to just like force them into it, and then they're going to naturally have something that's going to shake them out of it, like forcing them to go to church, for example. So, what I want to invite you to consider is, I like to say, let's brainstorm and collaborate. So, if your teenager, let's say, for example, your teenager comes up to you and says, I don't want to go to church anymore. I don't like going to church. I don't feel like myself. People don't talk to me, like for whatever reason. And maybe you can list some of the reasons why your kids have said they don't want to go to church. Oftentimes it's either they don't feel safe with the people around them. Maybe it's the peer group. Maybe they feel lonely. It's people, right? And we know that people, it does play a major factor in whether they want to participate in something. And our hope is that they can look beyond that. But as teenagers, all they know is, this kids aren't nice to me. They don't talk to me. So therefore, I don't want to put myself in a place where I feel uncomfortable. So when you can get curious and not furious and really understand why, the tip of the iceberg is, if I draw an iceberg, right, here's the water, the tip of the iceberg, what's going on underneath the iceberg, right? What is the real reason why they don't want to go? It's generally just one of a couple of reasons. It's the people. Okay, we can talk about that in just a second. It's the actual faith, the teachings that are being taught there. And three, this sometimes, but I don't really think this is a major factor. They're tired. They want to sleep. They don't want to get dressed up on a Sunday. They just want to lay around. They either scroll on their phone or go do something else, right? Those are the three main reasons. If you have other reasons that you've heard of, I would love to hear. I'm trying to check my comments and I have a couple things going on here. So I would love to hear if there's other reasons why you have heard your teenager doesn't want to participate in the faith or go to church. So, and one of them is parents think that they're lazy, right? If they don't want to go. Oh my gosh, there's something on my tongue. Okay. Usually it's not. Usually it's a factor of one of the other two reasons, and they're using that as an excuse. So if you've raised them in a faith that participates on Sundays, then it generally is people. Either they're being made fun of, or they're being isolated, or kids won't talk to them, or there's maybe an adult leader that has talked down to them. People, it's a people factor, or it's a doctrine factor. And you want to understand what those are. So let's just say it's a people factor, right? In an ideal world, we could say to our kids, oh, you know what? Don't worry about those people. You go and worship for yourself, whatever. And that has an element of dismissiveness. That has an element of invalidation. And while there are different ways to manage the people thing, maybe one of it is talking. Like, I am not a fan of, if it's another teenager or other kids that are isolating them, I'm not a fan of talking to their parents, because that just blows everything up worse. I think we'd like to think, oh, if I just talk to so-and-so's mom, then they're going to talk to their kid, and then their kid's just going to be nice all of a sudden. No, that's actually not how it works, unfortunately. So I'm definitely not a fan of encouraging you to talk to the other parent. But if it is a people problem, you can say to your kid, listen, I get it. That stinks to have to go to a place week after week where you don't feel emotionally safe. And there's Sunday activities and we have midweek activities, right? You want to encourage them to go. In my opinion, take it for what it's worth. I say, let's just say they don't want to go to Sunday school. You know what? Why don't you come to Sunday school with me? I would love for you to come with me. You can actually have mature conversations. Or I don't want to go to a midweek activity. You know what? You actually don't have to. It's there for you to support you and help you to make friends. But if you don't feel safe with the people there, I don't want you to go. Let's do something else, the two of us. Let's watch a TV show together. Let's do an activity together, right? So there are ways to work around this. I think you can say, you know what? There's going to be people throughout your life that don't feel safe. What do you think about every other week giving it a try? And if they're just saying, I don't even want to go to the building where those people are, I just want to stay home. Okay, you can stay home, but let's talk about what that looks like if you stay home. Maybe it's you study something, I study something, and we talk about it after, right? So it's giving them space and their own agency to choose if they don't want to participate for a time. Set a time limit. Like, let's do this for a month and see how this works. Let's go every other week for a month. Okay, you don't want to go. Let's reassess in a month or something like that. So that's a people situation. If it is a doctrine or a faith-based situation, if something doesn't sit well with them, you got to be able to honor that. Even though that doctrine or whatever works for you, or you feel peace about, that doesn't mean that you can automatically just infuse that into them or force them into going, that it's going to magically fix itself. If they feel dismissed on something that to their core doesn't align with what they feel to be true, you're actually inviting them to quiet their inner voice. And what I believe is more important is to say, you know what? You can try out the, like, I just am not a fan of, no, you will go or else. Our family goes. This is our family culture. You can say something like, because words matter, like I talked about yesterday, you can say something like, you know what? I understand. I validate you. Validating does not agree. I validate why you don't want to go. This point of doctrine doesn't sit well with you. What if I would love to invite you to, there's a whole gamut of things that you can do besides saying, no, you will go. This is what our family does. You can say something along the lines of like, I appreciate that question. Let's do some research together. I'm going to do some research. You do some research. Let's talk about this on a weekly basis. Let's talk about this before or after church. If you want to take a pause from going, I support that. I want you to go. I would love to consider, like, you want them to go 100% of the time. They want to go 0% of the time. What about 50%? What about every other week? I know for our church, we have a 2-hour block. 1 hour is where we all sit together. We participate as a family. We partake of the sacrament. And then the other hours where they go off with individual groups. What if you come to the first part and then you go home for the second part? And then when you go home, let's do some value-based things. If it's not religious-based, like, you can kind of cater the conversation. You can do some Bible-based, you can do some value-based, talking about integrity and honesty. There's a lot of different ways to slice it for them to have their own Sunday school, to have a Sunday school with you, to come with you. But if it is something that feels inherently that they're being repelled by the doctrine, when you force them to come and participate, even though they're being repelled by the doctrine to their core, it actually makes it worse over time. It pushes them further away so that when they're adult, they're like, nah, don't want anything to even think about it. Don't even want to participate in anything of that. So when you can be open and talking and validating and help them explore their doubts and questions, they feel so much more safe with you to talk about it and to better understand what it is that they're feeling. Because they often don't know what it is that they're feeling. They just know it doesn't feel good. So on this Sunday, day 5 of 30 of talking to you, going live, of how to talk to your teenager. Today, we're talking about religion just in general, what that looks like, how you can approach the situation. If your teenager doesn't want to talk to you, doesn't want anything to do with you, examine, how are you talking about your faith? How are you talking about the religion? How are you helping them feel safe in religious aspects? Because it is important. It is important to your long-term relationship. If they don't want to go to church now and you're forcing them to go to church, when they're an adult, it's pretty likely that they're not going to want to participate in the church and in church things. And it's also pretty likely that they don't want anything to do with you because you forced them to do it in a time when they were trying to learn and explore and had doubts. So that's something that I want you to consider today. Like I said, we're on day 5 of getting your teenager to talk. I have linked in my bio, and you can also comment here the number 5, because I have a free guide that I just created with 5 ways of say this, not that. Sometimes you say things you don't realize it's breaking trust. There are other things, words matter, that you could consider saying a little bit differently. So don't say it here on this live. Comment after I publish this live. Comment the number 5, and I'll send you in your DM the link to that free guide that I've created about what to say and what not to say. So questions about religion. Next Sunday, I'm also going to be doing something religious based. So if you have any suggestions about what angle I can take next Sunday, I will do that. And continue watching this series. These are just little bite-sized nuggets. Let's see, we're almost at 14 minutes of talking every day for 30 days. If you've missed the first 4 days, go check them out. They're pretty good, if I do say so myself. I'm really helping you outline why your teenager doesn't talk to you, why they don't talk to you. And then in the space, when you understand why they don't talk to you, then you're ready to do the work to get them to talk to you. And that's what I do in the private space that I have created. The program that I have of moms, where I support moms of teenagers, it's called the Trusted Academy, where we deep dive into uncovering the patterns you are stuck in. Your teenager's not the problem. You're not the problem. The pattern that you are stuck in is the problem. We all have patterns. There's nothing wrong. There's no shame in this parenting game. There's no shame that you have patterns to break. It's important to be able to acknowledge that you have patterns to break, because if you're just saying my teenager's the problem, I don't know what to do. Society told me teenagers are a problem. I believe them, so I'm just not going to do anything. My teenager's disrespectful. They're lazy. They don't want to go to church. They're the problem. Or moms are feeling, oh, woe is me. I thought I taught them better. I just thought I taught them better. I'm such a bad mom. No, you're not the problem either. Teenagers, when you think the teenager's a problem, I'm just so disappointed in them. I thought I taught them better. Nope, they're not the problem. You're not the problem either. You're a great mom. You are an intentional mom because you're here learning and consuming and trying to gather all the information. When you can separate those two and put them aside and say, oh, the pattern that we're stuck in is the problem. How I've been approaching this is the problem. And patterns can be shifted. I'm here to invite you to consider how you have patterns to be shifted. I'm here to introduce you to more patterns that you likely don't realize could be shifted. Send me a DM if you want to have a clarity call to talk about what that looks like to step into the Trusted Academy. And for now, grab my free guide, saythis.kristenduke.com. Or it's linked in my bio, or when you comment 5 after this live, then you can grab it. So come back to all the other days. Would love to have you because, like I said, this is just day 5 and I got so much more for you. I will see you on the flip side.